on the Dr. Oz Show. Bust your fat forever.
You're hearing it here first.
5 newest, fastest fat busters.
In many ways, it's the Holy Grail. They change the appetite.
Dr. Oz's secret formula to drop 3 pounds in just 3 days. And the revolutionary treatment to blast your fat instantly.
It melts a layer of fat through the skin.
It's painless and permanent.
I never see results like this.
Next.
From African mango to green coffee, it's the most talked about topic. Everybody wants to know, what's the newest, fastest fat buster? You've been stopping me on the street, emailing me. Even my family is asking the same question. How can I burn fat without spending every waking moment exercising and dieting? I just don't have any time to put in more effort. Well, thanks to brand new scientific research, I can tell you about a revolutionary fat buster. You're hearing it here first. It's called Garcinia cambogia, a pumpkin-shaped fruit that grows in Southeast Asia and India. And it just might be the most exciting breakthrough in natural weight loss to date. Revolutionary new research says it could be the magic ingredient that lets you lose weight without diet or exercise. Dr. Harry Preuss is at the forefront of the research.
The ideal weight loss program is one in which you lose fat and you retain your muscle or even build it. With Garcinia, we can make that happen. I tell women, look at your dress size. If your figure is getting much smaller, that's exactly what you want.
Garcinia is an exceptionally effective fat buster. It inhibits the production of fat in the body, and when the body's not making fat, it's burning fat.
Could Garcinia cambogia be the fat-busting breakthrough you've been waiting for? The newest, fastest fat buster, and one of the least expensive too, is Garcinia cambogia extract. I know it's a mouthful. I want you to write it down. Garcinia cambogia, because it may be the simple solution you've been looking for to bust your body fat for good. Dr. Julie Chen, a California internist with a fellowship training in integrative medicine, is here with more on this discovery. So educate us a bit about Garcinia cambogia. What makes it so special?
Well, you know, there's a lot of expensive supplements out there for weight loss. And what I love about this product is it's one of the most least expensive out there for people to use. And it's actually been seen in studies to help increase weight loss by 2 to 3 times what people would naturally lose with just diet and exercise alone. And they've been able to isolate this compound from the rind of the fruit and made it into a capsule for people to take more easily.
Yeah, I'm stunned that I hadn't heard of it earlier, but let me educate you all a little bit about what I do know about it. So it comes from a fruit.
Yes.
As Dr. Chen mentioned, it's the tamarind fruit. You've probably heard of the tamarind fruit. It's a pumpkin-shaped fruit. It's used in cooking. You find it in chutney sauces, it's in soup preparations, a lot of traditional medicinal uses for it. The sour flavors are said to aid in digestion. So it's been around for a long time, which makes me comfortable, a little bit more comfortable anyway, in its safety. Go through the research for me a little bit on this. How much weight would the average woman expect to lose if she were to use this for a month, for example?
On average, about 4 pounds, but I'm a big proponent of healthy lifestyle, so I always recommend diet and exercise with it, and if people take the supplements with it, they actually will lose about 2 to 3 times what they normally would lose with just the diet and exercise.
And walk me through how it works.
So it actually is great, not just for weight loss, which is important, but it's also great for emotional eaters because there's an increase in serotonin in the studies for patients, so their sleep and mood is better. It helps to suppress appetite, and it helps to block fat from being made. And it helps to kind of manage the stress hormone called cortisol. So a lot of the times the patients will notice that there's a decrease in the belly fat.
Listen, anytime I see a scientist excited about this, and I look through some of this research, called these scientists myself, I get excited. That's why Garcinia cambogia makes sense to me. It fascinates me. But I'm going to say something for everyone to hear. Please listen carefully. I don't sell the stuff. I'm not making any money on this. I'm not going to mention any brands to you either. I don't want you con. I'm going to walk you through over the course of today's show with exactly how you'd find this. But I got to say, I am intrigued by how this stuff works. Explain to me how it's different from all the other weight loss supplements that I've heard of in the past, the ones that most of our audience knows about.
Well, I think it's great because it's like a dual action fat buster because it suppresses appetite and it helps to prevent fat from being made in the body and moves it towards glycogen, which is actually an energy source for the muscles to burn when you exercise.
So Dr. Chen and I prepared a little demonstration for you to show you how this fat buster is going to help you shed pounds. So let's walk over here.
Okay.
And the first big point that Dr. Chen mentioned was that it helps block the formation of fat. Right? So this is your liver. Folks, this is where all the action is with fat creation. You can eat whatever you want, but when your liver gets a hold of it, it knows exactly what it wants to do with it. And oftentimes, that's to create fat. There's specialized enzymes in the liver that will take sugar and carbohydrates that you've eaten, that extra donut, that little bit of extra white bread, and convert it to the fat in your body. So go ahead, pour that sugar and carbohydrate. This is the sugar and carbs up here. Right, Dr. Chen's pouring this in. Pour that into your liver. And when you do that, not surprisingly, it can flow into the liver. And as it flows into the liver, it will selectively begin to fill up your fat cells. And your fat cells, watch, they'll get larger and larger and ponderously begin to swell up. And as you get more and more material pushed in there by the liver will soak up some of it, but it'll continue to make those fat cells as big and as robust as they can. Have you all seen this happen? Now, hold for 1 second. That's the current state of a lot of us. Garcinia cambogia blocks that enzyme that converts the sugar that Dr. Chen was pouring in into the fat that your fat cells will absorb. So what does it do? Effectively, it uncorks the pathway that allows you to turn that sugar into energy. And by doing that, your fat cells can begin to shrink out their material, convert it into energy. Go ahead and pour that in. Now, even if you eat sugar, you're capped this off, so you are unable, because of the Garcinia, to make more of that fat cell. And so you end up with this scenario. That's why this research is so superb and interesting to me, because it makes me think differently about how your liver converts sugar into fat and how it can now convert it into energy. Why is this so special for you?
Well, it's really important because a lot of patients early on want to just see the numbers go down on the scale, but that's not necessarily what's important at the beginning, because there's a body composition change. There's a recent study that actually looks at patients where they took the Garcinia cambogia and they saw an increase in the actual lean muscle mass and decrease in fat. And that's important because muscle burns about 30 to 50 calories per day and fat only about 3. And so if you're actually getting more of the lean muscle mass built and less of the fat, you're more of a fat busting machine yourself.
Right. Think about that, folks. Instead of focusing on the weight, you can now focus on your dress size. You can focus on your waist size, the things that we actually should be caring about. You'll look better because you got more of that muscle mass, because your energy is being used to build muscle rather than to build fat. Now, that's part one of the story. If you listen carefully, Dr. Chen said there's 2 ways it works. One is the mechanism we talked about here. By changing how you use energy in your liver, you make less fat. The other is by dealing with emotional eating. And this seems to work as an appetite suppressant. Let me walk you through how this seems to happen. So as you take the pill that has this extract from the tamarind rind, the Garcinia cambogia, it goes into your stomach. It changes the way the stomach empties out the food. There are chemicals released from your intestines that go into the bloodstream. They percolate from there up into your brain. As they float up to your brain, they change the appetite. And as this energy changes in the brain, you make more of that serotonin. The nerve cells sense things differently. You don't get the emotional drive. So your fat cells, because they're not full of fat anymore, will begin to release fat. And without that stressful, inflamed environment, the fat cells will naturally take you back to your playing weight. Plus, you'll stay fuller for longer. So, Dr. Chen, the big question, I'll ask you as an intern who takes care of patients.
Yes.
Do you recommend this to your patients?
I do, primarily because it's got other health benefits. That's extremely important to me because we're not looking at just weight loss, but overall health improvement. And they saw in the studies that patients had actually a decrease in total cholesterol, triglycerides, LDL, somewhere between 10 to 30%, and an improvement in HDL, which is the good cholesterol. And they thought that potentially patients who are obese had some improvement in insulin resistance and leptin resistance, which are hormones that actually help us to eat less and be more at normal weight.
If we can get folks, and it's not just a pill. Please don't go home thinking it's just a pill. But together with the normal, natural things we tell you to do, with the food you eat especially, this becomes a very important tool for us to use. You guys interested in learning more about it? Yes. I thought you might. Your jaws are dropping. So is Garcinia right for you? I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about taking this newest, fastest fat buster when we return.
Up next, is this fat buster right for you?
How long did it take before you began seeing weight loss?
Her surprising results.
Going down from a dress size 10 to an 8.
Ready to buy it?
But I do want to go through exactly what I would look for.
And later,
I keep this around me all the time. Cheers.
the ultimate skinny shot that Dr. Oz swears by.
I'm excited to be on Dr. Oz.
Dr. Oz is
So let's start talking. Now the web to have a national conversation about health and wellness. This is a no embarrassment zone. There's no topic that's off limits. I came to work today. I'm so lucky. And make sure you're sharing this information with the people you love. You're good to go. Be sure to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss anything. And remember to check back often to see what's new. Now, back to the show. We're back talking about the newest, fastest fat buster, Garcinia cambogia extract. Want to know how well it works? Well, meet Missy. This is what she looked like before she began taking Garcinia cambogia. While she was taking it, she lost 10 pounds in less than 4 months. Here's what she looks like now. You look really good. You don't even have a waist anymore. Disappear. Come have a seat. Sure. You look wonderful. When you first started taking the Garcinia cambogia, how long did it take before you began seeing weight loss?
After I was on it about a week to 10 days, I noticed results. And I continued on taking it for a couple more months until I ended up going down from a dress size 10 to an 8.
And that's great. And that's what we were talking about, is that initially you're going to have that body composition change. So the lean muscle mass comes in. So even if the scale doesn't change, it did for her, but even if it didn't, the fact is that you're going to look leaner in your clothes and you'll go down a size because your body's more compact.
Did you notice any changes in your appetite?
Yes. I noticed instantly a decrease in the appetite, but more so with the sugar. Before I had such cravings, such as the sugar or the carbs, and I noticed a decrease in those. And I also saw a big difference in the increase of energy.
And that's, I think, a great example of the effect of the serotonin. So the mood is better, maybe a little less sugar cravings that way. But also when your body's using the sugar you're eating and making it into glycogen, which is utilized instead of stored as fat, you actually have less sugar cravings. And they saw that in some of the studies. And so that's really important because she's actually a great example of that. And the kind of emotional eating with the serotonin and sleep and all that, that usually will improve. And
any side effects we should be warned about?
I had no negative side effects at all. Basically, I just wanted to take something that was going to jumpstart me. I found that I was kind of at a plateau and I wasn't losing, I was simply maintaining. And then once I started taking the supplement, that's when the weight actually started going off.
So you can buy Garcinia cambogia extract at health food stores. You can buy it online. But I do want to go through the guidelines for how to buy it wisely. So Dr. Chen, what do we look for on the bottle so people don't get taken advantage of?
So it's really important to look for the words Garcinia cambogia or GCE, which is Garcinia cambogia extract. Okay. You're looking for a percentage of this HCA, which is that ingredient in the rind, of at least 50%. And because it actually is absorbed better with mineral salts like potassium or potassium and calcium, you want to make sure that that's included.
So you want to have the, say a K or say a potassium next to it. How much should folks take?
Well, in the studies, it was about 1,500 to 3,000 milligrams. Some of the studies went up to 5,000 to 6,000, but it is a dose-dependent effect so that the more you take, the more the weight loss comes into effect. But I would probably say that if you're going to use higher dosages than the 3,000, to make sure you clear that with your physician.
And what time of day should folks take the pill?
So they should take it on an empty stomach. That's extremely important. This empty stomach, you want to take it about 30 minutes to 60 minutes before the meal because there's a lot of food products in the foods themselves that bind to the components of the ingredients in the supplement. And that actually makes the efficacy lower. So you want to make sure it's empty stomach. And the highest effect that they saw in the studies were about 2 hours after you eat it. So about 30 to 60 minutes before allows you to have that highest dosage while you're processing the food.
All right, so I've warned everybody that I'm not going to mention specific brands, but I do want to go through exactly what I would look for. So you want to look on that list of ingredients. There should be 0 fillers. There should be 0 binders, 0 artificial ingredients. Right? And remember, since you should never see my picture next to it because I never sell it. You see my picture next to it, that means they're stealing from you. And I guarantee as soon as the show airs, there can be thousands of fake ads out there, so don't go for those. I don't want you to be confused, so I do want to answer questions from the audience just to make sure you're all on the same page with me. So who's got a question? We got a couple over here. All right. How are you? How are you? You can stand. What's your name?
Lourdes.
Lourdes. And what's your question, Lourdes?
Who shouldn't take this supplement?
So a couple of things. If you're pregnant or breastfeeding, I would never take an herbal supplement unless we knew a ton about it. And these are almost by definition, because they've been used for thousands of years in other parts of the world, they're evaluated, but not the way we normally evaluate a medication. But the bigger issue for me, actually, is there may be contraindications of using this supplement with other supplements, prescription pharmaceuticals. We just don't know a lot about that. But I would caution you about diabetes. And the reason is this is going to lower your blood sugar.
Right.
So if you're on a diabetic medication, you want to make sure you're talking to someone, like a doctor. Otherwise, your blood sugar will go too low.
Okay.
I hope it's helpful. Now, who's going to take Garcinia? Put your hands up if you're thinking about it. All right. Coming up, the Skinny Shot. Curb your cravings with this ultimate fat buster. I'll tell you what's in it. That's next.
Coming up,
The newest, fastest fat-busting food.
curb cravings and shrink your fat for good.
Any time of day that you desire.
3 ways to add it to your meals.
Cheers.
And later, shrink belly fat in minutes. The stunning results.
All right, I'm next.
Stay with us.
I'm excited to be on Dr. Oz.
Dr. Oz's show. So let's start talking. Now the web to have a national conversation about health and wellness. This is a no embarrassment zone. There's no topic that's off limits. I came to work today. I'm so lucky. And make sure you're sharing this information with the people you love. You're good to go. Be sure to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss anything. And remember to check back often to see what's new. Now, back to the show. All right, who's feeling hungry? Anyone hungry? Yes. Well, I've got the ultimate cure for you. What you got in your hands, this is the ultimate skinny shot. The contents of this glass can curb your cravings and shrink your fat for good. That's right. Science has discovered the newest, fastest, fat-busting food. Cheers. Cheers. It's a little seed, but researchers are calling it a giant fat buster. The pine nut. Now commonly used in culinary dishes, pine nuts were used centuries ago in Siberia to curb appetite during times of low food supply. Now, modern science reveals that ancient practice had merit. Pine nuts, harvested from the cones of pine trees, pack the same heart-healthy fatty acids that subdue hunger hormones and burn belly fat. These tiny bites contain high-quality proteins. Pine nuts make you feel full faster by stimulating powerful hunger-suppressing signals to the brain, slowing digestion and curbing appetite. Curb hunger? Burn belly fat? All without diet and exercise? Pine nuts may be the simple way to shrink your fat for good. The newest, fastest fat-busting food is pine nuts. This little nut has some giant fat-busting properties. Now, here's what you need to know. You're going to eat enough to fill a shot glass daily. That's only about 60 calories. And you can eat this any time of day that you desire. Pine nuts are fat busters. They're high in protein, they help curb your appetite, and they will help control cravings as well. The secret ingredient is something called pinolenic acid. It's naturally occurring fat that's in these pine nuts. It stimulates these powerful hunger-suppressing hormones. And in studies, participants who consume an extract of this pinolenic acid reduce their food intake by 36%. I mean, that is a whopping opportunity if we take advantage of it. So Christy's here to find out more about this. How are you, Christy?
Good, how are you? It's a pleasure to meet you.
So, when do you get your worst hunger cravings?
I normally get my worst hunger cravings at night.
At nighttime?
Yeah.
When everyone's sort of gone and you're by yourself? And...
My son's asleep, yes.
All right. And what do you usually reach for?
Nothing good.
Yeah.
Nothing good. Popcorn, chips, peppermint patty. She's my friend.
She's your friend. She's a wonderful person. All right. The nice thing about pine nuts is you can eat them all day long, any time of the day that you want, and they will work to control your cravings. There are 3 ways you can try them. I love them raw, and I love them in the morning because they help me with my cravings all day long.
Okay.
The second way that I think people can get pine nuts is to grind them up.
Okay.
And you can use them to create sort of a pesto-like sauce. So go ahead and taste that pasta that we prepared that way. When you grind up these nuts, they release more of their oil. And because the oil is released, are you hungry? You know, you can have more in the break if you want. Here, let me help, please, if you don't mind. All right? So you don't speak because your mouth's full. And then let's come over here. It gets readily absorbed. And the last way is you can drizzle the pine nut oil on salads. You can use it for, in your soups. And I tell you, this is a fabulous way of diversifying the dressings you make for your salad.
That's great. I'd have both of them at dinner time.
You'd have both. Here, a toast to you. I love you. Just take care. All right. Coming up, the newest, fastest fat-busting procedure. Can it melt away your fat for good? Find out. Yeah.
Up next, it looks and feels like a massage, but this new Fat Buster is so amazing.
Wow.
You won't believe it.
We do these shows all the time, but I never see results like this.
Results over your lunch hour.
My pants are looser.
Coming up.
I'm excited to be on Dr. Oz.
Dr. Oz's show. So let's start talking. Now the web to have a national conversation about health and wellness. This is a no embarrassment zone. There's no topic that's off limits. I came to work today. I'm so lucky. And make sure you're sharing this information with the people you love. You're good to go.
Be sure to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss anything. And remember to check back often to see what's new.
Now, back to the show. For the first time on this show, I'm revealing a new fat-busting procedure that shrinks your belly fat. Plastic surgeons swear by it, and absolutely no needles or scalpels are required. Are you still struggling to get rid of your bulging belly or lose the extra padding around your butt and thighs? You may think you need to endure painful liposuction, tummy tucks, or other invasive procedures. But now, there's a revolutionary fat-busting procedure that literally melts your fat away without ever having to go under the knife. Called VasorShape, it's a dual-action fat buster which uses the high-tech power of ultrasound to melt fat, combined with lymphatic massage to drain it from your problem areas. Dr. Sharon Giese is a top plastic surgeon who says it's a game changer.
VasorShape is a non-invasive body contouring device that gets rid of that stubborn fat without a single incision. I can treat fat deposits that are really difficult for me to reach with traditional liposuction. I've had patients who tell me that it feels like a hot stone massage. This treatment is so great that I've had it myself and the results are just phenomenal.
Dr. Sharon Giese is here. Now, you say the VasorShape has changed the way we bust our fat. Why is that?
Yes, absolutely. It's non-invasive body contouring. That means there's no needles, no cannulas, and no medicines. And you can actually see, feel, and measure results immediately. And prior to VasorShape coming around, women were having to pay upwards of $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 to have their fat removed. And now we have an effective, affordable way of doing that. In fact, it can be as little as $450 a treatment session.
Yeah, it's very affordable at that price. Well, how does it differ, if you can go back a second, to the other non-invasive devices that I've seen? They're freezing devices, the ultrasound devices?
Well, what's really different about this one is that it feels great because there's an element of heat from the ultrasound. So it almost feels like a hot stone massage. And you can see some immediate results from this, and there's absolutely no downtime. Women can get it at their lunchtime or even when their kids are at school.
And explain to all of us exactly how it works.
This works by a two-part process. It combines some ultrasound technology with the lymphatic drainage. Now, I've been a big proponent of internal ultrasound for about 15 years and using it in body contouring in my practice for about that long. So Vasor came to me and they said, you know, we have some new non-invasive technology that we'd like to put into your office for you to demo and give us an opinion. And this was, in fact, external ultrasound. So it melts a layer of fat through the skin, totally non-invasive. And this is followed by the lymphatic massage that then brings away that liquefied fat and the toxins out from away from the area.
So we did a little bit of homework and created an animation that might be helpful to help explain how this treatment works. So the therapy, if it's used appropriately, targets specific areas, in particular fat cells right beneath the skin. So first off, here's the skin. You go just beneath there's the fat cells. The ultrasound hits the fat cells, and it begins to wiggle them and change them, and they begin to poke little holes in them as that happens, and they begin to ooze out little bits of fat. This is a lymphatic material channel. The green, it absorbs those fat waste products and carries them away. And secondly, the massager starts to irritate the area, making it easier to milk this material, this fat, out of the area through the lymphatics, thus taking tissue that looks mottled and making it very smooth no matter what part of the body is being treated. Now, before the show, Dr. Giese started a treatment on one of her own patients, Fahima, and she's going to finish it off live for us in the studio right now. So please join me if you don't mind. Welcome to the show, Fahima.
Hi, Dr. Oz. How are you?
How are you?
I'm good, good.
So why did you
Nice to meet
decide, well, nice to meet you as well. What bothers you about your belly? That's the area we're going to work on?
Yeah, it's actually the pouch that I have here, the way it sits over my pants. I just can't stand it.
And Dr. Gysi, who's this procedure right for? Why is Fahima a good candidate for it?
She's a normal body weight. She exercises. She does all the right things. And she just wants to melt a little layer of fat and have some skin tightening.
Can we work on you a little bit?
Absolutely.
So Dr. Gysi is going to show us how it works.
Back here?
If you could just explain, then I'll hold your hand. I'm told it doesn't hurt, but I'm always incredulous we can melt away fat without causing some discomfort.
You have the best hand holder, so I would take advantage of
my
that
God,
while
I
it's
can't
offered.
believe-
This is a little bit of oil, so I'm just going to put a little bit onto her skin because the ultrasound device glides over this. So this is the ultrasound.
I'm in heaven right now.
We'll see. Let's see how this works first.
So you see, this is really similar to the hot stone massage, and I'm just going to move slowly on her skin. And why I like this is because you can see, Dr. Oz, I can just glide over all different kinds of contours here. I can focus around a little area in the middle, or I can glide around from side to side. So this is really representative of the ultrasound component, which is the heat component of the Vaser shape. So now
Did it hurt at all?
Absolutely not. It's very soothing. It feels like a hot massage, hot stone massage.
And who's not going to see results here?
People who are not going to see a result from here are the ones who have either too little fat or too thick of fat on the body.
Okay.
So if you have between about a half an inch of fat or 3 or 4 inches of fat, that would be an ideal candidate.
And why is this better at busting the fat than some of the other technology or the non-surgical procedures that are out there all the time now?
What I like this technology is that you treat a thicker area of the fat and the skin, not just a very fine little layer. So it's the thicker layer of fat, and then you see the immediate results from the lymphatic massage component of that. Also, because that's going to sweep away the liquefied fat.
Is lymphatic massage the other part of this?
Yes.
And I should just point out that I didn't recognize before this show how important the skin element was. But when you can pull the skin taut, make it tight on top of the fat, it's much less apparent to the outside viewer, which is, of course, part of the magic.
Okay, so here you can see
This literally just shakes the area. Is that right?
You can see it pulling, actually.
Oh.
You can see how that's actually going to pull away the fat.
Suction.
Now, you mentioned $450. How many treatments on average does it take to get the results you desire?
Well, with one treatment, you can see, and we'll see when Fahima stands up, you can actually see a really nice result with one treatment, some permanent changes to the body. However, if you want to melt more fat, then you can just have more treatment sessions, and I recommend you do it about 1 week apart.
Okay. Can we look at your belly, see what kind of result we've gotten?
I'm ready.
So we took a shot earlier, Fahima. This is before she had the one treatment. And the treatment takes about half an hour?
About a half an hour, between 15 and 45 minutes.
So here's the shot from before. All right, let's compare it to now. Oh, my goodness.
Wow.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh my God.
Isn't that pretty
I
cool?
can't really see that muscle
Isn't
definition.
that pretty cool?
Oh my
That is...
I'm shocked. I am so happy. This is unbelievable.
We do these shows all the time, but I never see results like this. This is... All right, I'm next.
Oh my God, I'm so happy.
So not expecting this result, and sometimes it does take multiple treatments. You can put your shirt down, thank you. Maybe you want to keep it up, it looks so good. Because you can get multiple treatments to see even more dramatic results, we actually collected some before and after photos from Dr. Gysi's patients to show you. Dr. Gysi, walk us through these.
This is a treatment of an abdomen. This is actually only after 2 treatments that you can see that the belly's not out as much, and you can see more muscle definition as we did with Fahima. And this is another area that my patients love, is that back roll that's below the bra fat. Yeah. This was actually achieved after 3 sessions, but a phenomenal result.
Is this typical?
Typical.
Oh, do we have a happy customer here?
I am very happy.
Okay.
I'm so happy. My pants are looser.
I love it. No, I love it. All right, coming up, you can lose weight and bust fat just by changing what you drink every day. That's next.
Up next, the incredible fat-busting power of tea.
You'll lose an inch off your waist, drop a dress size.
Wow.
And you can lose up to 5 pounds.
Target your belly and overall body fat. And later, just 3 days.
It's a lot of food.
The formula for guaranteed weight loss.
You will still lose 3 pounds. That's my commitment to you.
Don't go away.
I'm excited to be on Dr. Oz.
Dr. Oz's show. So let's start talking. Now the web to have a national conversation about health and wellness. This is a no embarrassment zone. There's no topic that's off limits. I came to work today. I'm so lucky. And make sure you're sharing this information with the people you love. You're good to go.
Be sure to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss anything. And remember to check back often to see what's new.
Now, back to the show. For centuries, people all over the world have known about the restorative and healing properties of tea. But did you know that tea can also help you lose weight? Today, I've got teas that will bust your fat for good. Cassandra's joining us to talk a little bit about this. So what part of your body you're not happy with?
My belly, the muffin top, that it happens when I sit down, when I stand up, whatever. Just the belly part.
And what have you done to help get rid of that?
I've tried weight loss programs, exercise, everything.
Nothing works.
Nothing is working with this belly fat.
Are you a tea drinker?
I drink tea maybe a couple of times a week. Not coffee, but definitely tea one to 2 times a week.
All right, well, here's the deal. I'm going to bust the fat, not just for you, but for everyone out there who's watching. But I hear this all the time.
Right.
And I know that there's solutions out there that can help nudge you in the right direction. And especially for belly fat, you got to get tea into your diet. So I'm going to walk you through the different types of tea and how they can bust your belly fat. The first tea, let's walk on over here.
All right.
That will bust your belly fat is white tea.
Yes.
The white tea is young tea.
Okay.
It hasn't turned, hasn't been oxidized at all. It's one of the best teas out there for a bunch of reasons. But I love it because it has a really high concentration of something called EGCG. That's the antioxidant. You don't have to, there's no test on that. That's the chemical in the tea that specifically will stimulate fat cells to stop growing, which is what you want.
Right.
And it helps you burn off the ones you already have on you. Go ahead and take a quick taste of that.
Okay.
See if you like the taste before I show you exactly why it works. But this stuff's really cool because there's so much data on how it works now.
That's light.
It's
very
reasonable,
light.
right? So you don't even need sugar with. So
Okay.
let's pretend this is your muffin top, you called it, okay?
Yes.
And you're speaking for a lot of women out there. I
Okay.
get asked this question more than any other. And all these fat cells in you, they're growing. Even when you don't think you're doing anything wrong, they seem to be growing, right?
Right.
Bigger and bigger and larger.
Yes, that's
so now,
me.
let's say you take some of that white tea. This is the EGCG. That's the stuff I talked about.
Okay.
And go ahead and coat the fat cell with that.
Okay.
And when you do that, a couple things happen. First off, those fat cells, you can pour some on there.
Okay.
Pour some. You want a lot of that stuff on there.
Okay.
All right. You want to really get some on there.
All right.
Now, the EGCG, that white tea, it allows that fat cell to stop growing. In fact, it'll begin to shrink over time and shrivel up because the body's going to be more comfortable letting go of it. The other thing that happens is you'll actually release the fat from in there. Right? And as you do that, you'll get fat not inside of you,
Right.
but the fat that's released, it goes all over the place, and your body will take it away and get rid of it.
Okay, white tea. I love that.
You like that?
Yes.
All right. You're literally going to shrink your fat cells. And you know what? They did a study on this and looked at folks who were drinking white tea. Over a 12-week period, so over a 3-month period, they lost 10% of their waist size.
Oh my goodness, that's what I need.
And so all you got to do is drink 2 cups of this a day. And if you drink it hot, it seems to stimulate your ability to take in the things like the ECGC and other antioxidants in there. So those folks seem to have even smaller waists.
Oh.
So hot white tea.
Muffin top disappeared.
Disappointed, gone. All right, there's a competition here. There's
Okay.
2 different teas you could use for muffin top, for
Okay.
belly fat.
Okay.
The other tea is oolong tea. Now, oolong tea is sort of it's in between a green tea and a regular dark tea. So
Okay.
think of it like in that context. So most people have never tasted it. Go ahead and give it a shot, see if you
right.
like it. But it actually helps you by letting fat cells again release more of that fat and increases fat metabolism.
I could drink that.
You can do that too. If you do nothing else, that's what this study argued. If you do nothing else but just drink oolong tea, you'll lose an inch off your waist. You'll drop a dress size,
Wow.
which is a pretty big difference, and you can lose up to 5 pounds.
Oh.
So, and now you got to eat right. I know what you're
Right,
having,
right.
a lot of other
Not just tea.
No, not just tea. Yeah, just eat tea. But if you drink tea for a month, those are reasonable results they got in that study. I would start to do it.
Okay.
Right? Now, again, this is 4 cups a day. That's your dose, your prescription. That will be 2 cups a day. So you drink less as well if you're going to get the white tea. Okay, now let's just say that it's not just your muffin top you're worried about, but you're actually concerned about fat all over. Okay. So I've got a tea that works for that as well. This is for the fat all over issue. It's a yerba mate tea. Again, it stimulates your metabolism, which is one of the reasons is that it works to get rid of fat all over your body. Okay. Give that a taste, see if you like this. This is a bit more of an acquired taste.
That's very bitter.
Good. All right. So I thought you might say that. So I got a little stevia here.
Okay.
Let me see if this helps you a little bit.
All right.
So usually you want to mix your yerba mate with something a bit sweeter. Okay. And again, this will also kill your cravings, which helps it as well. See what you think about that.
Oh, that's better.
Is that better?
Yes.
But you're still a white tea lover.
I'm still a white tea lover.
I think we have
sold on white tea.
All right. If you want to get rid of fat all over for the rest of you out there, once in the morning, first thing when you get up in the morning, within 30 minutes of waking up, and I think it's a reasonable solution. For all of these 3 examples, don't forget, you're not going to add any dairy to it or soy milk. You're going to, just lemons, all you get, or a little bit of stevia or something. Because it turns out when you add milk, you reduce the power of the antioxidants in these things.
Okay.
Okay?
Right. Yes.
Take all that white tea home with you.
Okay. Thank you.
Up next, secret formula to bust fat and drop 3 pounds in just 3 days. You're going to want to see this.
Dr. Oz's show.
So let's start talking. Now the web to have a national conversation about health and wellness. This is a no embarrassment zone. There's no topic that's off limits. I came to work today. I'm so lucky. And make sure you're sharing this information with the people you love. You're good to go.
Be sure to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss anything. And remember to check back often to see what's new.
Now, back to the show. Three famous formulas that changed the world. Pi equals 3.14. E equals MC squared. 2 all-beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions, and a sesame seed bun. You know all those. Well, today, I've come up with my own formula. 3 plus 3 equals 3. It's my formula to bust your fat for good. Now, it sounds like crazy math. Are you ready to find out what those numbers really mean? All right. Well, if you give me 3 days, I'll give you 3 fat-busting meals to help you lose 3 pounds. And here to prove it is Angela, who's going to join me for this. How are you, Angela?
I'm very good. Dr. Oz.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
All right, so before I get into my 3-3-3 plan, I'd like to learn a bit more about you. So what have you tried to lose weight?
What haven't I tried? I just recently had a baby, so it's that, I'm trying to get rid of those. Thank you. Yeah. Last few pounds, and I've fasted. I have taken pills and supplements. So, you name it, I've tried.
So how far are you from your weight loss goal?
It's just like those last few pounds, just to get me back into those jeans.
The skinny jeans?
Yes.
All right, so here's the deal. Here's how this works. You're going to eat everything on this table right here that you can see in front of you. Everything. It's going to be the same thing for 3 days in a row. So I'm giving you 3 days worth of food right on this table here. You're going to have the exact same breakfast. You're going to have the exact same lunch. You're going to have the exact same dinner.
That's a lot of food.
Making it real simple. It's a lot of food. You will still lose 3 pounds at the end of those 3 days. That's my commitment to you. Now the key, there's a couple issues here, but one of them is you got to eat the same food at the same time. So let me walk you through these things. Okay. I've got, in the morning, you got a Tex-Mex egg and cheese muffin. So I'm going to walk you over here and show you exactly how you're going to make all 3 of these.
Okay.
So this is your breakfast.
All right.
So you get a ramekin, right? You put your egg in there, your low-fat cheese, mix it up in there, put it in the microwave. It's done. And people who eat eggs for breakfast will lose more weight during the day. Okay, so this is your breakfast.
Okay.
Anything confusing about that?
Seems pretty straightforward.
You can eat that 3 days in a row?
Absolutely. That cheese makes it better.
You know what? give it a taste here. I'm going to take the top of the muffin off just so you can get a bite of it in your mouth.
Oh, it's a lot.
If you don't love this stuff, you won't eat it every day. When you get up first thing in the morning, this is what you're going to have.
That's tasty.
Okay, so I'm 1 for 1.
Okay.
All right, my formula is intact so far.
Okay.
It's Einsteinian physics. We're working on this together.
Okay.
All right, let's move over to lunch. Okay. This is a very special meal. Thought this through. This is your biggest meal of the day. It's a bean burger, so they look like when they're raw form, with a belly-blasting bun. Now, instead of a bun, a regular bread bun, I'm going to make lettuce your bun. Okay?
Okay.
So I know that's not, a celebration for you. I get that. But the good news is that you actually get to have 2 of these bean patties. Not 1, but 2 of these. So there's a reasonable volume of food there. You can find this at any supermarket. In fact, all the stuff I've talked about here is available at all supermarkets, very affordable. So these baked sweet potato fries are going to be alongside of this, which are superb as well. High fiber, low in calorie, and lots of water content. And they're metabolism boosting herbs on here too. I put some oregano on top. Go ahead and give it a taste.
Okay.
And they satisfy that desire to have something a little crunchy in there.
This is good.
It's okay?
It smells good too.
It does smell good. So am I 2 for 2 so far?
2 for 2.
All right. And now the dinner is where I'm asking for a little bit of sacrifice.
Okay.
I won't need that because the dinner is a shake, a lean green super shake. It's the least amount of calories of all the 3 meals. Again, I'm only asking you to do this for 3 days, so I'm figuring with that kind of lunch you just had, you'll be able to make it through without a heavy dinner.
Right.
I'm going to show you how to do this. Again, it's taking a lot of the heat off you. Go ahead and add all that in there. A couple fistfuls, 3 cups actually of green vegetables are going to be in there. They have protein and power. Yeah, I'll throw it in there. You can split on the floor too if you want. It's okay. Don't mind the studio. High in antioxidants, got lots of fiber in it. Put the celery in there. You're going to whiz this all together. Then you want a little bit of ice. That boosts your metabolism when you eat cold things anyway. I give you half a banana because it tastes better.
Okay.
An apple. And inside of this almond milk, you've already put the salad. I know that's very kind of you. Pour that on there, and you have exactly what I'm prescribing with one missing secret ingredient, which is vanilla whey protein powder. Go ahead and add that in there. It's 1 big scoop of that protein powder. Now, you'll notice a theme coming through here. Protein, protein, protein.
Right.
Because I know that protein is a very efficient way of making you feel full, but it's not going to put a lot of calories in your body. So you're going to get what you need. Over time, you want to have more carbohydrates, but for just the 3 days I'm asking you to do this, you're in good shape. Once you've turned it up, you're not going to go through that exercise. You're left with this.
Okay.
Now let's just see.
3 pounds.
3 pounds in 3 days. That's my commitment to you. Go ahead and taste that. If you can get over this part of the hump and do this as part of your 3... Oh, it's good.
Fresh. It's fresh.
It's fresh and it's good.
It is. It's good.
I think the culmination of all that, would you do this for 3 days? All right. So here's the commitment to all of you. Remember, 3 plus 3 equals 3. 3 days plus 3 fat-busting meals equals 3 pounds lighter. You get back into your skinny jeans again. Oh. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
good luck with the baby.
Thank you.
I'll see you all next time.
Be sure to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss anything. And remember to check back often to see what's new.